Gen V Season 2 has been a real roller coaster. I've always been skeptical around this show. It just don't feel like it's really necessary in the boys' universe. It just seems to be more filler and, more of a cash cow. Especially as Season 1 had little to no impact on the following boys' season, aside from, a couple late season appearances from Sam and Kate, but they didn't really have much of an impact. But this season, Season 2, did have some more elements that I thought will really impact the main show moving forward. So let's start there. And before we get started, obviously this video contains spoilers. It's been out for a while, so you really should have seen it. And the fact that I even have to say that a Season 2 review of a show will contain spoilers for Season 2 is just depressing, but there are people that are that stupid, so there you go. Let's start off with the good things. I thought Cypher was an amazing villain. His cold, erratic, and fucking insane behaviour was very ominous, and he seemed incredibly mysterious at first. However, the twist surrounding the true villain was a piece of genius on the part of the writers, and I mean truly that changed the entire trajectory of the season. I thought the season was kind of a write-off. It was kind of boring, pretty uneventful throughout most of the show, but that twist really changed everything. The whole story of this season is essentially all the villains' plan succeeding. The main villain, who is Thomas Godolkin, was almost in a vegetative state, and he was mind controlling someone in order to make them appear to be the main villain, who we hate for the majority of the season. And he's doing this in order to make the main characters, and specifically Marie, believe that healing him would help take down Cypher when he is in fact Cypher. I want to say the twist had my jaw on the floor when I first saw it. It's not one of those silly twists that don't really make sense. It's clear that this was the intention of the story from the very start. Like when Marie can't sense V in Cypher's blood, that's because that's not really a soup. He's been mind controlled. And all of this is done for the intention of Godolkin and Sister Sage in order to establish a sort of soup supremacy. Before the twist reveal at the end of Season 7, I was thinking the entire season was nothing more than filler in order to make a quick buck before the boys' Season 5 kicks off. But that twist actually gave the audience an unexpected, worthwhile story with some very important developments. I think the biggest development for this story was we get to see Marie's true power. Marie is known as Odessa, or an Odessa baby, meaning she was given V from before birth. And only 2 soups have ever survived this Odessa trial, Marie and the other one being Homelander. Meaning that if what Godolkin and Sage have said is true for the entire season, then she is as powerful as Homelander and potentially even more so. Now this development has huge implications for what we can assume will be the final season of The Boys. And at the end of this season of Gen V, we see Marie and the Guardians of Godolkin join Starlight and A-Train, which means we'll be seeing this huge ensemble cast for Season 5, which I'm really excited for. Now, there were some issues that I had with this season. Now, obviously, before I become too negative, the story was intended, I assume the story was intended to be a lot different before the tragic and untimely passing of Chance Perdomo, the actor that plays Andre. And he undoubtedly would have played a huge role in the story if he had still been with us. And obviously that tragedy has really impacted the entire story and the cast in so many ways. So with that, I feel like I could be a bit more lenient for some of my criticisms, as I'm sure that must have really affected the writer's initial story ideas. However, that being said, what the fuck happened with Kate this season? In the last season, she became a villain, willing to work with Vought and bend the knee to Homelander, and she was essentially responsible for most of the chaos we saw at the end of Season 1 of Gen V. And it wasn't like she had no choice. Most of the bad things that happened were directly because of her. So to see her save Marie, Jordan and Emma and become a good guy out of nowhere just felt really out of place. And again, that's probably because they had a different intention with her before Andre, but before the passing of Chance, but it still just didn't feel right to me. And it would be somewhat interesting if she at least did something, to redeem herself. But she's really sort of useless throughout the whole season. She doesn't even really have her powers for most of it because she gets brain damaged by... All she really contributes to the entire season is mind controlling one guy so Marie can fight Godolkin, and that's about it. In fact, almost all the other Guardians are useless in this season. All they're really there for is just exposition and occasionally as plot tools when Marie needs to rescue somebody. Emma has sort of a love triangle thing going on that I couldn't care less. I mean, she's obviously going to end up with Sam in the end. I don't really see a point in trying to act like that's not what's going to happen. That's obviously going to be what's going to happen. He's the only relationship that anyone would care about. This other guy, Greg, no one cares about him. I don't see why they'd even try and string that on. Jordan and Marie are sort of a thing as well, I guess, which is, cool and very progressive because, she's bi-gender or whatever, but it's probably only being established now so Marie can go beast mode later on when Jordan dies or gets hurt in the final season of The Boys. She'll unlock her true power through that sheer emotion or something. Sage also revealed a future plan she and Godolkin had that is interesting and deliberately kept vague, but oops, too late, he's dead. Yeah, I'm sure Sage will try and implement that, but I mean, Godolkin sort of really seemed to fuck over Sage because he's sort of gone against Homelander's will, and if we know Homelander, and after 4 seasons we do know Homelander, he's probably not going to take very kindly to that. Although Sage will probably be okay because without her, Homelander would be in a lot worse of a position. Polarity was given a bit more to do this season, which was good, but I just really didn't care about him, if I'm being honest. Outside of Godolkin and Marie, this season had very little going on. It almost felt like a cash grab in the way that they would just shoehorn in characters from The Boys for a scene or an episode just to have the audience be like, hey, I know that person. Like with Stan Edgar, or with the girl with the tentacle mouth, or with, Starlight and A-Train. It's just a bit of like fan service, I guess, and I don't know. Outside of, the developments for Marie, which is going to be important in the final season of The Boys, not really much happens. Overall, I'd say that I'm disappointed, but this show's entire purpose is just to be a sideshow that adds more substance to The Boys, and it has definitely done that in that regard this season. With the developments for Marie and Sage and Godolkin, so I can't be too mad at it. My prediction for the next season of The Boys is that Homelander is killed by Butcher and Marie, and Sage helps her do it. My belief is that Sage will become good, and that is solely based on the fact that she's black, and this is quite a woke show. God, I hate using that phrase. But it is, and all the other black characters have since become good, like A-Train and Stan Edgar and all these people. With the exception of Noir, although he wears a mask, so he doesn't really count. I also think that Butcher will die as well, which isn't a super out there prediction, as he's basically fucking a walking corpse already with all that poison inside of him. I just hope that next season doesn't disappoint after all this build-up, because we have got some pretty powerful characters now. Obviously Marie, Homelander, Butcher with all the tentacles, and all of these characters, and there should be a really good final showdown. All in all, I thought this show was just okay, but let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Let me know how you feel about The Boys Season 5 and if you're excited. I know I am, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.